like a bell ringing in a hotel room. It might be empty, but it's best to just assume that there's people in there and they are using the facilities or the bed, or they're just getting head by a hooker, the wife, or perhaps you. I fell asleep and I had the strangest dream. It seemed to be about the company that we keep. I had a book in my hands and it turned into a tattered photograph, and then a soul and flew away. What's it gonna take for this to go where it should belong? Will these pieces fit? Do they fit at all? What's it gonna take for you to tell me when the time is right? Ain't no use in trying, I'm not going out tonight. These drops of memory, they fall like rain. Lying things shatter just like window pane. And even though those mountains may come tumbling down, I'll just stand around, eyes wide open, watching. What's it gonna take for me to let go of yesterday? Living for tomorrow as I stand here today. What's it gonna take for me to know that you are gone? Just like you're dead to me, even though you're not dead at all. Not dead at all. How's it going? I'm Jesse James. I play guitar and sing for Sticky Throttles, and I play drums for If You See K. I have an inner self that also plays drums. He's in a wheelchair. His name's Barnacle Jeff. He plays for a band called John Hell and the One-Eyed Snakes. I started playing music, it would be about 1980. I was about 4 years old. My dad got me my first drum set. My dad was in a couple of bands, and he's still actually in a couple of bands. And yeah, it really has always been kind of a part of our family and our life. It's, some families have Jesus, others got guns, we got the Beatles. Well, I moved here originally from California and Santa Cruz, San Francisco, which there's definitely a thriving music scene. And I came here, for personal reasons, and I was amazed at how many musicians there are here. The bars really step up to the plate and kind of roll out the red carpet for everybody. The clubs. There's the old guard here is what really, really astounds me. Jerry Forney's here. Bugsy Maw is here. Russell Brunk is an amazing drummer, and he was my dad's drummer, long before my dad moved out of town. And it's amazing to see this many musicians, and young and old. And what really is amazing is the generational. Everybody, it doesn't matter if you're 60 or if you're 22, but if you're a musician and you're playing, it's like you will know everybody, and you'll find 25-year-old guys playing with 65-year-old guys, and that's kind of amazing. And not only that, but the bridge between the genres. We got punk bands like Bad Girls Go to Hell or the Hounds of Bastardville, or us, everybody calls us the Sticky Throttles punk. And, just as easily, you'll see those bands play with guys like Jacob Cross, who does bluegrass, or Missouri Homegrown, who's got Steve Early, who's an amazing guitar player. He's been all over Tennessee and Texas and California, and my God, that's what's really cool is a lot of towns, like especially bigger places, the genres tend to stick together and they don't really branch out too much. And here, you could walk into Magoon's or the Rendezvous or Cafe Acoustic or any of those places and see like completely different acts. The amazing thing right now that's going on with like music overall, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have the obvious, like you're going to have the Beatles, of course. Everybody's going to love the Beatles, or Leonard Skinner, or whatever it is, But it's also, what are you laughing at me, interviewer? There's so much more going on than that. You got guys that come out of the woodwork for open mic jams or whatever, where you're like, oh, that's my stockbroker. or oh, that's my banker, or whatever. And the next thing you know, he's like blowing your brain with some amazing song. I think music is kind of an important part of everyone's life, whether you're a musician or not. You know, if you are awake and aware and you have, you know, the sense of hearing, you're gonna want to listen to music. That's an inherent thing. Where I grew up, there's a huge music industry, and you know, it almost seems like that's where you have to be a musician. And since I've lived in Missouri, I've seen bands like the Goddamn Gallows, who are actually from Michigan, or Get Dead, who's from San Francisco, but they tour all over the place. Actually, Get Dead is amazing. You've got to check that band out. There's this organization called Farmageddon Records that's sort of a loose, it's a record label, but it's also, man, that like there's Larry and his Flask, who are from down south, and then there's James Honeycutt, who's from Washington, and then there's the Gallows, and they're all on that, you know. And it's kind of, and they have this thing called taking back country music. And see, that's the kind of thing is, you know, country music is one of those things that is totally misrepresented. It's kind of like hip-hop in that way. It's like, or even punk is totally misrepresented. Like, what people think is punk and what really is punk are two different things. There's all these people that are pretty much would, you know, kick the crap out of you musically if you just had a chance to listen to them. Honestly, I kind of do have a major gripe with the music industry these days. Just because of that, it's so commercialized, and I'm not knocking the most commercial people, because there's commercial people that I love. You know, I'm not even going to name names, but there's some pop crap that I think they're really good. And all my friends would hate me for saying that, but they are. You know, I'm just saying, I saw you driving around town with the girl I love, and I'm like, fuck you. You're going to get to a point where you're going to be making decisions about, you know, what can we get at it? Like, who can help us get, you know, this project off the ground? I mean, obviously you're going to write songs, and that's pretty much the focus. And you're not going to write bullshit. Don't write bullshit. If you're going to write songs, write good songs. Don't mess around with like, oh, I'm going to imitate this person, or I'm going to join that scene, or anything like that, man. The key thing is really writing good songs. And I think that when you turn on the radio is a really good example, because you have your country station, or you have your pop station, or whatever is selling now. The radio is about 1,000th millionth of what's actually going on musically. You know, there's all those people came from somewhere, and they all started out like, just, you know, you got to load up that van, man. You got to go across town, or you got to go across the state, or whatever it is you got to do, and you got to go play. What I do know about music, which is not much. I mean, who knows anything about music, really? It's one of those things. It's like knowing everything about physics. You're never going to know about it. It's what you're going to do is touch on it, and you might have your little spot. But what I can tell you is, if you're going to do it, you got to do it with sincerity, and do it with all your heart, do it with love, and don't fail. And if you're going to fail, just go ahead and fail. It's like skateboarding, or driving real fast, or anything. If you're going to, or drag racing, which I got to say, we got a lot of drag racers in my family these days. Old Danny Chris there, and that's how he goes out to every race. He's a 55-year-old, been racing for a long time, built like a toothpick. And I tell you what, when he goes to race, he's going to do it all or nothing. And that's kind of how you got to live life, really, overall. And if you're going to play music and you're going to want to get out there and play, that's how you have to do it. You don't have to do that if you want to learn how to play music. Learning how to play music is something that's in everyone. All of us need to know a little bit about music. I mean, it's part of the human condition. Music is part of the human condition. And I'm a complete fucking asshole. I'm very abusive. I like to drink and fucking fight. Pretty much, that's what I do. I tattoo the shit out of people. I get tattooed. I love my life. Give it all you got. This has been One-on-One with Jesse James from the Sticky Throttles and If You CK. You've been watching Tuning Fork TV. Have a good night, bitches.